Welcome, dear Morning Light Sangha. Today is a special day. Today is the day we start our third year together as a Sangha. Completed 2 years already. So we're going to celebrate today and do things a little differently. We'll begin with about 10 minutes of sitting, and then we're going to enjoy a bit of a history of how this group came to be, because there's many of us here who joined after we began and might not know all the details. And then hopefully we'll have a chance to share a little bit about what Morning Light is meaning to us now. So enjoy this wonderful day, and we're recording it for others who couldn't be here to be able to also participate.
Good morning, everyone. Have a little stretch and sit comfortably. Happy anniversary. Another way to say happy anniversary is thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice, for your diligence, for your dana. So in the last 730 days, we've met together nearly 670 times. We've met 6 mornings each week since April 11th of 2020. And from the first Saturday has been our lazy day, with one exception, being the Saturday, January 22nd this year, the weekend that our teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, died. So for those of you who joined somewhere along the line during the past 730 days, but you were not with us from the beginning, we'd like to give you an overview and a bit of history of the Sangha, including our Sangha's origins, its leadership structure, and our evolution. So how did we get started meeting 6 days a week at 7 a.m. Pacific time? John Prescott and I have been practicing together since we joined the mindfulness community Puget Sound in Seattle 22 years ago. And we both became Order of Interbeing aspirants in 2004. For those of you who might not know, the Order of Interbeing is a fourfold community dedicated to preserving, transmitting, and cascading the Plum Village teachings of Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. Fourfold community means nuns, monks, lay women, and lay men. In October of 2005, John and I were ordained by Thich Nhat Hanh, and were given the names Chan Yim Kweng and Chan Yim Min. John's name means true recollection of radiance, and my name means true recollection of light. John and I are also both ordained chaplains. We both have end-of-life care, palliative care as our primary chaplaincy focus. So we offer practice leadership for several sanghas, including days of mindfulness and retreats. We offer meditation training, mentoring in the practice, and training on wise caregiving skills for those taking care of the ill and infirm. And we do all of this through our umbrella organization, Radiant Light Zen. We have a website, radiantlightzen.org. As the pandemic began to unfold in March of 2020, John and I started meeting almost every day to practice together and to discuss our practice in the face of the unfolding pandemic. And one day, right at the end of March, John asked, "So, what do you think about inviting several of our friends to meet together every morning to practice for a couple of weeks?" At the time, we naively thought that the sequestering for the pandemic would lift after a couple of 3 weeks. Remember being incredulous at the notion the whole world could just completely shut down for more than a few weeks. So then came the question, who would we invite? So John and I had practiced for 15 years with 18 or so folks from all over the Pacific Northwest. Seattle, Victoria. And together we practiced 3 or 4 meditation retreats together each year with our Dharma teacher, Eileen Kiera, in a beautiful rural retreat center in northern Washington called Mountain Lamp. And sadly, that community had some conflicts, and many folks stopped coming to practice together. And John and I really missed the lovely relationships we had with all these people that we practiced for so many years. And we tried repeatedly to draw the group back together, but we weren't successful until COVID hit. And we thought, well, since we can't meet in person, let's invite the people we're missing to come together in a virtual meditation hall, in a virtual Zendo, the Zoomdo, if you will. So we made our list, adding additional invitees from among our other friends and other sanghas, dear practitioners. And our invitation was to join a group of fellow practitioners at 7 a.m. Pacific time, mostly in silent meditation together, with a hard stop right at 7:30. Monica, Jack, George, Juby, Jim, Debbie Westcott, Tim Motley, Sue, Ron, Mimi. Actually, how many of you were here and attended kind of from the beginning? Just kind of raise your hands. Oh, Ann, I forgot. Sue, definitely. So, I can't recall exactly how many attendees attended the first practice, but I think it was about 20. And we told everyone that you're welcome to invite friends and fellow practitioners. And within a week or two, we were seeing 25 or 30 people arriving to practice together each morning. And soon people from other time zones were joining us in other countries. So at first, John and I traded back and forth each day, offering a brief invitation to practice right at 7 a.m. And when it became clear that we were not going to stop after 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, John and I invited 4 other people who'd been attending every day into what we were calling the service ship team. That's when we invited Monica and George and Tim Motley and Christine Eastergaard to share the role of inviting people into practice each morning, 6 of us, 6 days a week. So we each took 1 day. And the Sangha continued to grow by word of mouth. And while new people continued to join us, some folks came for a time and then found other practice outlets. Even some of the practice leaders found other important avenues of practice arising for them. But consistently over the past 2 years, we've hovered between 20 and 35 attendees, with as many as 38. And how many are we today? 34. We practiced for at least a year before we realized we needed a name for the Sangha. And after considering several suggestions, we settled on Morning Light Sangha. And at some point, probably in early 2021, the serviceship team agreed to start inviting other seasoned morning Sangha practitioners to join us in extending the daily invitation of practice. And we wanted to have and maintain an even balance of women and men in the serviceship team. So we decided to invite several couples to join us in offering the morning invitations and inviting the bell. We invited Jack and Judith and Ron and Laura. And it turned out the guys were in, but the wives weren't able to serve. They attend all the time. So suddenly we had more men than women. And over the next few months, we invited Sue and Amita and Allison and Lindsay and Carla to join us. So we currently have 11 serviceship leaders. So each of us leads once every 2 weeks on average. And we recently realized that some of you are only able to join us on one particular day of the week or another. So you may not even know that there are 11 different practice leaders. So let's take a moment for each of the practice leaders to just bow and say your name and your order of interbeing name or your 5 mindfulness trainings name. Just bow in. You know John, you know me. The rest of you, please just bow in, say your name and your true name.
Monica Bowingan. My true name in English is True Sacred Mountain. Bowing out.
George Bowingan. Excuse me. My true name in English, and I never did learn it in Vietnamese, is True Wonderful Joy.
Hi, this is Ron Bowingan. I am True Ocean of Courage.
Lindsay bowing in, gentle connection of the heart.
Carla bowing in, true compassionate dwelling.
That everybody, I know Amita couldn't be here today. So at least a couple of the serviceship team are considering stepping back and allowing other practice leaders to come forward. So if you have an interest in serving on the team, our primary requirement is the depth of your practice, insight, and wisdom. We're a Thich Nhat Hanh Sangha, therefore we give special consideration to Order of Interbeing members and OI aspirants. And because you all entrust us with inviting you into practice each morning, we know that you expect that we will ask only seasoned practitioners into serviceship. Another requirement is that you've taken the 5 mindfulness trainings in a formal transmission ceremony. Our aspiration each morning is not to get you thinking for the next 25 minutes. Our aspiration is to invite you into a direct and immediate relationship with the present moment, with present moment awareness, into a direct and immediate relationship with awakening. Just this, just now, this. John, Monica.
Thank you, Mike. You're so good at encapsulating things. I so appreciate you bringing our history together and voicing it. And all that I really want to add is a bit of a personal experience with this. And that is, I have dedicated my life to practice, and I have maintained something very much like what we're doing together, but more or less on my own, because I don't live in a practice center. And I found that Morning Light for me has become the closest I've had to living in a practice center, to see you all every day and to have this time together in this formal structure of sitting. And for me, I start at 6:30, so you join me halfway through my sitting. But it's just been so lovely, and I've just filled with gratitude to you all for being here, for providing, from my own personal perspective, providing me with this practice community that feels so much like I'm able to live with you and see you every day like it was a monastery. So thank you all for being here. It means a great deal to me.
Monica bowing in. I want to say that I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for our Sangha. Grateful to you, John, and Michael, and all of us that come together each morning. And when I think of the phrase so often chanted or recited, to the Sangha I go for refuge, I don't think that I've ever in my years of practice had such a deep understanding of what that meant for me until I learned new ways of being in the world, like sheltering in place or social distancing, and that, which came at a time when we came together and there was no distancing, there was engagement, and spiritual friendships developed. Had no idea it would go on for 2 years. And I'm just so grateful that it is. John and Mike, I love you both. I think of you as our Sanghas. You're our 2 dads, our 2 loving, nurturing dads who have nurtured us. And love you. Love you all, Sangha. Bowing out.
Thank you, Monica. We love you too. So let's open it up. We have some time for us to share what is Morning Light for you all. And Yeah, I'm imagining you. It's been important to you too because you're here every day. So please feel free to bow in the few minutes we have remaining.
Mimi bowing in. For me, it's been a lovely anchor at the beginning of my day, and with seasoned practitioners. I am part of a Tiger Mountain Sangha, but when we got together, it was really we were really little babies in the practice, and so it's been just wonderful to be with people who have been in the practice for obviously many years and are sharing their insight, and I really appreciate it all. Thank you. Mimi bowing out.
Hi, James Bowingan. I live in Victoria and practiced with Monica quite a lot over the years. And I practiced at Indianola with a lot of you. And yeah, it's just really good connection for me. The connection of Sangha has meant a lot to me in the last 3 or 4 months. And I'm glad I joined. Thank you all for being there.
This is Nancy Bowingan, and I would just like to say how much this means to me. I wrote down the date I started. It was March 4th of this year, and it would take a lot to keep me from showing up at 7 o'clock every morning. You've all come to mean so much to me, and I appreciate this way to start the morning with people who have such a depth of practice. I've been practicing for many years with the Vipassana group, and I continue to do that. And this is a wonderful addition. I really treasure it. Thank you all so much. And I'm glad to know the history and get this little introduction to the history. So thank you all so much. Nancy bowing out.
George bowing in. I came to this Sangha on the invitation of my dear brother John. We developed a wonderful brotherhood at Deer Park many years ago. And I got the invitation letter, and at that point in my life, I was really feeling the need to take sanctuary in a Sangha. The Sangha here in the small town where I live, we dissolved during COVID. And so I didn't really have anyone to practice with. And I really needed it. So this has been a wonderful place to regroup my mental and spiritual energies. I love every one of you that I can see your face, and many of you I do not know in person, but I do know you in spirit. And I feel your spirit and your wisdom every morning when you were here. So many thanks to John. Thank you for the invitation a number of years ago. And I just love you all. I appreciate you very much. And in this tradition where we talk about taking sanctuary in the Sangha, it really is important, and it really works. You know, a place to come for to be able to close the doors to the outer world and really begin to look at and experience the love and energy that comes from this practice.
Only bowing in. Well, hard to begin and put it in few words, but the Sangha has been an anchor, a refuge, a source of light, a regular routine to ground me, and I am especially grateful to Moni for, Monica, to Monica for inviting me. I'm usually Monica, but since Monica is here, I went back to my child's name, Moni, just for the clarification. And big, big gratitude to all of you, to John, to Michael, to Monica, and all of you who make this possible with your persistence, your diligence, your practice, your belief, your spiritual groundedness. It means so much. Thank you.
Thank you all. We'll leave the kitchen open here after we dedicate the merit of our practice for more discussion if you'd like to stay. I would like to sort of give two public service announcements here. One is that we've had a couple of people need to withdraw from the retreat, so we have 2 spots open for the retreat. So if you're considering that, please feel free to register. And the other one is, Mike and I really dedicate our lives to practice, and this is what we do. So any sort of dana is helpful. That monetary part of this does exist. So if you're interested in offering dana, you can go to the radiantlightzen.org website and click the Support Us button. Mike, any final words before we share the merit? Okay, let's unmute and share our end of 2-year merit, so we can share the merit for the whole of the last 2 years. May the merit
of this practice and peace and bring peace.
Peace.
Happy Monday, everyone. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy
Thank
continuing.
you. Thank you
Happy
for honoring
anniversary.
you.